Thanks to Girl Scout, I had an aptitude for science and math, and our troop leader had really encouraged me to do science, do a science badge. So at a young age, I realized that I could do science because I failed the first few times, but in Girl Scouts, that's okay. And especially when you're learning something non-traditional, sometimes you won't be good at it the first time. And I wasn't, but I kept at it, and finally my rocket launched, which was great. But I got a real sense of, I can do this. I can do science and math. So I began taking science and math electives, and I decided to be an engineer. And, you know, my college counselor looked at me, and she saw that I was Latina, and she said, you know, girls like you don't go to college. And I said, well, I'm going to college. And I told her I was going to be an engineer, and she said, girls like you know, girls aren't engineers. And I said, you know, that Girl Scout confidence, I'm going to be an engineer. So I applied for all sorts of scholarships. And there was this one scholarship I applied for that didn't say have a gender base on it. And so I just filled out my name, and I answered all the questions. And it was a pretty tough, I remember that test being pretty tough, but I answered it. Well, time went on, and one day the principal called me out of class at high school, and he said there were these two men that wanted to interview me, and these men had come down from Albuquerque, and they were both engineers, and they told me I had done the best on that test, but I was a girl, and they thought somebody had filled the form out for me. So they kept asking me, who filled the form out? Did you answer those questions yourself? And one of the men said, show me that you've done anything mechanical in your life. And I said, you know, I changed the oil on our cars. And he scoffed at me. And he said, go detail by detail. And I went through every single step. And he said, you just did that because you've seen your father do it. And I laughed. I said, my father's never changed the oil in our cars. So at that point, they finally obviously agreed, because I ended up getting that very wonderful scholarship.